If you had to turn your life around tomorrow, what is the first thing that you should do? Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Unconscious Communication Secrets. You are tuned in with myself, Al-Busaidi, and today I'm going to be sharing with you something called your vision and mission. We're going to be talking about how you can create a powerful start in any journey. So let me start off by asking you, if you had Google Maps and you wanted to get to somewhere that you've never been to before, what's the first thing that you're going to need to do? Well, ultimately, you got to know where you're at, but then you got to put in a destination. You see, Google Maps is very powerful. If you input a destination, it will help you figure out how to get there. And your mind is a little bit like Google Maps, because if you don't input a destination, it can't help you figure out how to get there. And so any journey of transformation is always a little bit about helping someone figure out, where exactly do you want to go? So the other day, we recently got a barbecue in my backyard, and it's a gas cylinder. Like in my kitchen, I have an electric cooker. So when we're cooking in the kitchen, I've always used it. I've never had gas cylinders, but recently I got a barbecue and it has a gas cylinder, and I was like, okay, I need to refill my gas cylinder. But I've never done that before. I didn't know. Someone told me that I could go to one of the petrol stations over here and I can refill my gas cylinder. So I was like, okay. So I took the gas cylinder. I went to the petrol station, and at the petrol station, they told me, you know what? We don't do it here. You can figure it out in another petrol station. But I was running late and I had an appointment, and I was like, oh, okay. So I drove home, thinking, okay, I'm going to have to find a place that will fill up my gas cylinder. I have to find a place that's going to fill my gas cylinder. I have to find a place that will fill my gas cylinder. And I was driving in my compound. And I swear to you, this happened like literally 3 days ago. And I drove into my compound, and at the roundabout, there was a truck full of gas cylinders. And they were going around delivering to all the different houses that did have gas cookers. And I went and I stopped the guy, but and I managed to change my gas cylinder. But here's the thing: I had never ever seen one of these gas cylinder trucks in my compound before. They probably have been there, but I never paid attention to it. I never actively thought, oh my God, there's a gas cylinder truck, because it wasn't important to me. I didn't program my mind. I didn't tell my mind, look out for this. And it was only once I said, okay, this is important, that all of a sudden there was a gas cylinder truck, and I saw it. And I only paid attention because I told my mind it was very important. So I want you to think of this. Let's do a quick exercise. Don't think of a black cat. Don't think about it. Just don't like, whatever you do, just do not picture a black cat. Imagine, like, don't picture me stroking a black cat. Don't imagine a black cat saying meow. Now here's a question: how many of you actually did imagine a black cat? And here's the reality: is most of us, when we say don't think of a black cat, or automatically you think of a black cat, because your mind just goes, okay, what else should I think of? Okay, don't think of this thing, but then we think of it, because your mind must create what it wants to negate. Your mind must create what it wants to negate. So, but and I tell you this example is because so many of us in our lives, when we think of progress, we think of the things that we don't want. But in order for you to get really far, here's the secret: You got to focus on what you do want. That's where the key is. That's where the juice lies. And so I want you to think of a couple of examples. Like, have you ever been in a situation where you've said, you know what, I should lose weight, I should lose weight, I should lose weight? Maybe, you know, I see this a lot when people have a wedding, right? They say they've been like, I should lose weight, I should lose weight, I should lose weight. And then a wedding's coming up and they go, okay, by this date, I have to lose this many pounds and I'm going to do it by doing this, right? So that's the natural way. We have something that we kind of want, but when we get clarity on it, that's when we get results. It's a challenge with a live video. The kids literally just ran in, touched the and ran out. Okay. Or perhaps you wanted to go on holiday and you decide, you know what, I'm going to go on this destination. And all of a sudden you see brochures, you see magazines, everything that points you to that right direction. Because we have something called the reticular activating system. When we get clear on something that's important to us, our mind finds all the different things that will allow us to get there. Or if you've ever bought a car, or you're in the process of buying a car, you identify the exact car that you want, and then you see that car everywhere. These are all natural examples of how our mind does it naturally. So I have a couple of new guests that have joined.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. All right. So let me talk you through a quick framework of how do we get clear? How do we get a vision or a mission that drives us? One way is to imagine yourself 5 years in the future, just having a conversation with someone and saying, you'll never believe what I've achieved over the last 5 years. Here's all the things. And then you just list out all the things that, if you were looking back 5 years from now, if you were looking back on your journey and all the successes that you've had, what would you be telling somebody? What would you say that you've done? What have you accomplished? What are some of the obstacles that you've overcome? Who have you helped? What house have you moved into? What feat did you get over? What challenge did you overcome? And so that's one way to create your vision and mission. Another way is to create a vision board. I have a couple of vision boards. So that's one over there. I've got behind my light, there's a couple of, like, get a clear, like, visuals of what it is that I want. What am I, and how am I going to know when I get there? So that's another thing that you could do. Another exercise you can do is something I call the Groundhog Day, which is, if you had to live a day over and over and over again, what would you be doing? Because a lot of people, you say, what is success to you? Oh, you know what, if I could have anything, I'd just be lying on the beach. But you'd get bored of doing that every single day. If you had to live one day over and over and over again, what would that day contain? That's another way to look at what your vision and mission could be. And what is the difference between a vision and a mission, right? So a vision is ultimately, where do I want to be? What is that vision of the future? The mission is, how am I going to get there? So I could talk about my vision of having helped 3 million people, or having a global empire of educational services, or et cetera, et cetera. And then my mission is to help people who help others, to provide edutainment, to et cetera. So I'm talking about the ways that I'm going to get there versus my big vision. So that's so get clear on the ultimate vision, and to get there, use your mission. So that's another episode of Unconscious Communication Secrets. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys in another episode real soon. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in another episode soon. Bye. Peace out.